Right now at 6, a former vice president is in southern Wisconsin right now, about to speak at an event in Beloit.
And as the city's finance committee prepares to take up the mayor's proposed wheel tax, we have a closer look at where this extra money would go if approved.
Plus, deputies make an arrest weeks after a body is found in a rural part of Sauk County.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
And thanks for joining us. Former Vice President Dick Cheney is in southern Wisconsin right now, about to give a speech at Beloit College.
He will be interviewed by former Governor Scott Walker. Our Amy Reed is live there now and joins us with what we can expect. Amy?
We're still about an hour away from the discussion, and as you can see, people are starting to line up. Police are in place to act as security. Now, as for the event, according to the Beloit Young Americans for Freedom, which is the group hosting this tonight, Cheney and Walker will talk about the power of the executive branch, national defense, the U.S. response to the attacks on 9/11, and the future of conservative governance. Now, all of these things are still very much on America's minds, even still as we watch an impeachment inquiry into our president and as we withdraw troops from Syria, a decision that has been heavily criticized by many Democrats and Republicans, including Representative Liz Cheney. We'll see if we get any more specifics on that tonight, and we'll bring you an update tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
Amy Reed live tonight at Beloit College. Amy, thank you. Current Vice President Mike Pence is set to visit southeastern Wisconsin next week. He'll be in Pleasant Prairie at the manufacturing company Uline on October 17th. He's slated to speak about President Trump's trade agreement with Mexico and Canada.
An emotional plea from State Representative Jimmy Anderson of Fitchburg as he revealed why he asked Republican leaders to make special accommodations for him at the Capitol.
I love coming to this building and working with you all. It means the world to me to be able to serve my constituents and serve my state. But I can only do this job if you accommodate me.
The State Assembly passed a proposal today allowing Anderson to phone into meetings when he physically can't be there in person. But Anderson and every other Democrat voted against the rule changes, saying they were a power grab from Republicans. In efforts to appease Anderson, Republicans took out a provision that gives lawmakers the ability to override a governor's veto multiple times and passed that as a separate proposal. Republicans argued that Democrats were unwilling to compromise.
We took the words of the gentleman from the 47th to heart, and we want to make one more step in your direction. We're hopeful that by doing this, that you'll take a step back for the first time.
Governor Tony Evers' spokesperson says Republicans are still sour about last year's election and today adopted lame duck 2.0.
New at 6, the State Assembly has overwhelmingly passed a bipartisan resolution on an 87-9 vote in support of bringing the F-35 jets to Madison. The state Senate approved it on a 32-1 vote earlier this week. Several residents near the airport have expressed their concerns, mainly due to the potential increased noise of the jets. Let's turn things over to weather now. Meteorologist Chris Reese is here watching the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, that's right. We've seen the clouds increase. We even had one round of showers move through the area, and I think there's going to be a little bit more where that comes from as we go through the next couple of days. Cloudy out there right now, but the skies are dry at the moment. 64. We've dropped 2 degrees since the 5 o'clock show. Those winds still coming out of the south and east at 11 miles per hour. Janesville also at 64. A bit warmer just back towards the west. 68 in La Crosse, 68 also in Boscobel. His visible cloud track. We saw some holes in the cloud cover earlier, but now that thick blanket of cloud cover is moving on in. We've got some showers moving on towards the north and east. I think we'll see more showers moving in overnight from the south and west. Expect us to stay mostly cloudy with scattered showers tonight. Lows fall towards 63. That's the high tomorrow. This cold air is on the move. We're timing out the rest of the cold air and more showers coming up in Maine weather.
Chris, thank you. As Madison's Finance Committee talks over a proposed $40 wheel tax, some are wondering if it would even help ease Madison's traffic issues. Our Jamie Perez spoke with a transportation expert at UW-Madison to get some answers. Jamie?
right, well, the expert that I spoke with says that this is something that has been studied in a lot of cities across the country, and with Madison's growing population, he says we don't really have many other options here in Wisconsin when it comes to tackling this issue.
The bus system in Madison has one of the highest usages for any bus system of this size in the country.
There are millions of people riding these metro buses in Madison every year. There's also millions of drivers using the roads, and the population here is only growing.
We need to get ahead of this growth now.
Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway said her proposed $40 wheel tax is aiming to decrease the growing traffic problems that we continue to see.
But there's really not very many other options.
Eric Sundquist is a transportation researcher and director for the State Smart Transportation Initiative. He says this new bus rapid transit system will help decrease congestion.
Well, the answer is yes. We know that from research that when transit goes away, congestion gets really bad.
But a lot of taxpayers aren't too happy about the new tax. Sundquist said there are some misconceptions about where your money would be going.
75% of that tax is not going to the BRT. Most of that tax is going to police and fire and other city services. 5 or 6 or 7 of that would go to BRT.
Whether people are in favor of paying the tax or not, Sundquist said studies have shown that bus rapid transit has worked in many other places.
When we provide more efficient, faster transit, people use it more. One of the things that keep people from using transit is travel time, because the bus stops in a lot of places and it has to wait while people pay, and it just takes a long time. So if you make it more like a train, so it goes faster, you get more ridership.
Everyone wants to be able to get where they're going faster, more efficiently, and without paying an arm and a leg. But Sundquist says we do need to do something, and even though this project may cost the taxpayer more than they would like.
If we had all the money in the world, would we rather have a light rail or something like that? Sure, but this is done for like a fraction of the cost.
And there are many reasons why people are not in favor of the wheel tax, but Sundquist said if the Finance Committee approves it, it will help with congestion as Madison's population continues to grow.
Jamie, thank you. A Richland Center woman has admitted to killing a man whose body was found along a rural Sauk County road last month. Deputies arrested 35-year-old Amber Lundgren yesterday in connection with the death of 37-year-old Christopher Lytle. His body was found in an isolated area in Fairfield along Levy Road on September 22nd. According to the report, while detectives were talking with Lundgren, she admitted to causing his death at the location where his body was found. Detectives say there was a prior relationship between the two and that the incident was not a random act. Catalytic converters on cars can be stolen and then sold for the small amounts of valuable metals they contain.
That's what Shane Bloomer believes happened to him, leaving him with a hefty bill. But the man he sure did it isn't facing charges. Madeline O'Neill can tell us why the man thinks this could happen to anyone. Maddie?
Well, Dane County resident Shane Bloomer reported his catalytic converter missing on September 20th. The Dane County Sheriff's Office confirms they arrested the man Bloomer says is responsible September 28th. The district attorney's office is just getting back to us tonight saying right now they just don't have enough evidence to prosecute.
They're looking at this as a petty crime. Well, it's not a petty crime to me because
for Shane Bloomer, it's a crime that's left him feeling stuck and
angry. I'm disabled. I can't afford to fix my car.
With receipts showing a $2,200 fix for his missing catalytic converter.
We're looking at the front pipe that he cut, the catalytic converter.
He's not sure how to move forward.
I'm a single dad that has my kids 50% of the time. I have to transport my kids one way to school 26 miles.
Bloomer had his car parked on a friend's lot when both he and the friend had their catalytic converters go missing.
They're melted down for all the precious metals in them.
Bloomer thought things were going his way when officials arrested the man he and his friend say stole the parts.
The sheriff said there was enough evidence that they issued an arrest warrant for him. And they picked him up on a Saturday, and by Monday morning, the DA declined to charge him.
Catalytic converters don't have serial numbers. The DA's office says they're not able to match potentially stolen parts with vehicles and says right now they just don't have enough evidence to prosecute.
Yeah, I do have a message for the DA. Do your job.
Bloomer feels his case is falling between the cracks and worries the same thing will happen to others, too.
Absolutely.
As to where Bloomer goes from here.
I don't know what to do. I'm between a rock and a hard spot.
We're not naming the man arrested because he's not currently facing charges, but the DA says if more information turns up, they'll be able to review that decision. Now, to prevent this kind of theft to your catalytic converter, you can have it welded to your car's frame or engrave your VIN number on it. Alarms are available online as well, but if you want a cheaper option, you can try to keep your car parked where it's visible, but of course, that's not a sure thing.
It seems like a lot of work, too, to have to do that. Yeah, hopefully you get some answers there. All right, Maddie, thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. Still ahead tonight at 6, the ice castles will be returning to Lake Geneva this year with a bit of a change.
And an update on interstate projects in Rock County as we near the end of construction season. Stay with us.
Welcome back. The ice castles will be returning to Lake Geneva this winter, but they'll be constructed at a new location this year. Construction is expected to start later this month or early November at the Geneva National Resort and Club. The new location is hoping to open in early January. Portions of Highway 14 in Janesville are closed tonight as work continues along the interstate.
Well, for those who rely on taking I-3990 each day, the project is impossible to ignore. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter explains.
Well, construction on the interstate is nothing new. It's also not going away anytime soon. While the DOT says they're doing their best to keep everything on track, those who rely on the interstate for day-to-day travel say they're learning to make the best of it. As work continues along the interstate, so does work at Van Galder Bus Company.
We have daily scheduled buses between Madison, Janesville, Beloit, and Chicago.
General Manager Al Fugate says in this business, it's about getting people where they need to go when they need to get there.
Everything is logistics based and trying to maintain a schedule as much as we are safely able.
He says prior to the I-3990 project starting, he feared for the worst, with more than 100 buses relying on that road each day.
We have either the misfortune or the fortune of having a lot of buses on that corridor at any given time. So there's a lot of communication going on between the drivers themselves and between the drivers and dispatch.
But as the project continues, both he and the DOT say things have been going about as smooth as they possibly can, with major projects like a new bridge over highways 26 and 14 happening now.
It's great and rewarding to see all the progress that's been going on and knowing that the light is at the end of the tunnel. We're getting closer to finishing another construction season, but there's, again, only 2 more construction seasons as we start wrapping up the interstate project.
And when you work in an industry as busy as this one,
This coach, every one of our coaches is accessible.
knowing you can rely on the road to get you there is everything.
We can't just pull over and wait for the traffic to pass. We've got to maintain the schedules the best we can.
Both the DOT and the bus companies say they've got at least one thing in common, and that's that they're excited for what's to come when this project is done. In Janesville, Adam Duxter, News 3 Now.
In November, work along the interstate will stop for the winter season.
And then after that, the DOT says they're on schedule to complete the work in 2021. Still ahead tonight at 6, UW-Madison announcing some major renovations at Camp Randall.
In sports, a look at what will be changing and when that work will start. But first, meteorologist Chris Reese will join us. Your full forecast. Stay with us.
Ashley Home Store 72.
Southern Wisconsin is turning to solar power now more than ever, with multiple big projects either online already or in the pipeline.
But does solar power make sense in cloudy areas? From January through September this year, we had sun in less than 1 out of every 5 days. Experts say Southern Wisconsin has a costly disadvantage when it comes to solar energy. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield will explore the changing economics of solar power, how climate change could also play a role. Join us for that story tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
Chris is here with the weather, and it's the eve of the big chill, but first we have got some fall colors. They're really starting to go now.
The weather we've had this week has been perfect for the fall color. We've had dry weather, plenty of warm, sunny days, and then a lot of those cool nights. It's perfect to truly get those colors to pop. And we have seen a pop in the color, especially throughout the northern half of the state. Several counties now coming in at peak condition throughout northern Wisconsin, central Wisconsin. We're seeing the patchy color. As you get closer towards the Illinois state line, you see less of a change. But folks, if you've been outside today, we really saw more and more of that color starting to show right here in the Madison area. So I've got us at patchy in the own fall color report. I don't think that peak is going to come for about another 2 or 3 weeks or so, which that's normal. Typically, we peak around late October here in southern Wisconsin, mid-October throughout the mid part of the state. Where we're seeing those colors peak now, well, late September and early October is about when that would normally happen. So that is not a surprise at all. Temperatures today were warm once again, helping those leaves get the sugars going. We saw those highs right around 70. Normally, Our high is right around 61. That'll be close to the high tomorrow, but into the weekend, things are going to be well below normal. 64 in Madison right now. Same for Janesville. Mineral Point at 63. Boscobel, one of those warmer spots, coming in at 68. Here are the showers, though, that moved through earlier on, right as the rush hour got started. We're going to see a little break in the shower activity, but then overnight, more and more showers are going to likely develop throughout parts of Iowa, and then all of that begins to track towards the north and east. Snowflakes flying throughout parts of the Dakotas. That is where the cold air is. We saw snow wreak havoc for the Denver morning rush hour. Snows throughout western Nebraska as well. We're still under the influence of the warm air. That's going to last for about 12 more hours, and that cold air comes crashing in as this whole area of low pressure tracks towards the north. That opens the door for the breezy and cold air to rush on in through a lot of the country. It is not just us. And then the cloud cover comes in by Saturday night. Throughout the rest of the weekend, things are likely going to be staying on a cool, cloudy note. I can't rule out some flurries and isolated showers at times. But this core of the cold settles in for the weekend, folks. And then we'll actually see it stick around somewhat for a good part of next week. By Wednesday, a reinforcing shot of some cooler air moves in. I think we'll start to mild things up a little bit as we get you towards next weekend or so. But we've got to get through the cold this weekend. We're watching these cold temperatures. 25 right now in Rapid City. All of that, as we go through time, moves our direction. We're starting out Friday. Temperatures right around 61. By the end of the day Friday, temperatures will be in the 40s. And this is the end of the workday. The rest of the evening, those temperatures are still going to fall. Will likely go just below freezing. Then you factor in the wind. Those wind chills by tomorrow night, we're talking wind chills right around 30. Wind chills could likely be in the teens and 20s as we head into Saturday. So folks, please have the jackets on hand for the weekend. You'll need the umbrellas, though, at times headed into tomorrow. By the time we get you towards early next week, I expect more sunshine and temperatures in the comfortable 50s.
You know, it seemed like a good day to play a state golf tournament, but it didn't quite turn out that way. We'll have that story coming up in sports. A temporary blow to the Badger men's basketball program. The NCAA has denied the appeal of Micah Potter on the Ohio State transfer. Can't play until the end of the first semester. Potter is a 6'10", 248-pounder who is expected to be a significant contributor. But by losing the appeal, he'll have to sit out the first 10 games of the Badgers basketball season. Camp Randall Stadium going to get another renovation in the near future, this time in the south end zone. The athletic department announced plans and gave us a look at what the new south end zone will eventually look like. They're still setting a timeline on when the project will be completed or who's going to be the contractor. Badger football still a 10.5-point favorite to beat Michigan State at Camp Randall Saturday afternoon. That's a 2:30 kickoff with the game televised on BTN. The Badgers are on a roll, 5-0 record, scoring over 43 points a game on offense and having the #1 ranked defense in the country. But Kent State won't be the opponent this week. It's Michigan State.
I see you back in the Big Ten, and I think this one will have all the things that you think about. It's going to be a physical game and facing a really good defense, facing a really good offense that does a good job running the ball and throwing it, and yet, you know, I like the way our guys have prepared this week, and got to finish that up and give ourselves the best chance to play well Saturday.
Today is our son Connor's birthday. It's also Brett Favre's birthday. The Hall of Fame quarterback is 50 years old today. Yeah, Brett Favre is 50. Did you see the end of the Game 5 of the Dodgers-Nationals NLDS last night? Howie Kendrick, of all people, hit a grand slam in the 10th inning off Dodgers reliever Joe Kelly. The Nationals won the game 7-3 to advance to the National League Championship Series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Tonight, Game 5 of the ALDS, Tampa Bay at Houston. That winner gets to face the Yankees in the next round. Our Prep Mania High School football game of the week features a battle for second place in the Big 8 as Middleton travels to Sun Prairie. We're live on channel3000.com, 7 o'clock tomorrow night from Ashley Field in Sun Prairie. Girls sectional tennis at Nielsen, a great day for the Madison West Regents. Their #1 singles player, junior Maddie Bremmel, sweeps through the draw, defeats Verona's Meredith Conley for the #1 sectional singles title. And in #1 doubles, the Regents' Camille Vadas and Sophia Knigge have all the answers as they win their sectional championship over Waunakee's Trista Ripp and Sarah Sowinski. Madison West wins the team championship, so the Regents qualify for the state team tournament in 2 weeks. The WIA State Girls Golf Tournament begins this Monday at University Ridge, and they're hoping it doesn't turn out the way a high school tournament in Montana turned out. This is the final round of the Montana State AA Golf Championship in Great Falls, Montana. The tournament had been rescheduled by bad weather once already. More was on the way, so they played the final few holes in near whiteout conditions. They had spectators help locate the balls when the players hit them, but white ball, white snow, kind of tough. Funny thing is, the scores that day were 240 shots better than the day before because of high winds. That doesn't look like fun, though, does it?
Have you ever played golf? You played a lot of golf. Have you ever played anything remotely close to that?
Not remotely, no.
Not even flakes in the air. We've got some diehards out here, but
That's true.
We don't play in that stuff.
I'd do it.
Yeah, sure you like the snow.
I do like the snow, and so I'm looking forward to maybe a chance of flurries this weekend, but my hopes are not up. In the meantime, get prepared to bundle up for a big chill that's on the way.
All right, thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you back here tonight at 10.